Good morning from WAFS, the big news in the Mohawk Valley, with studios and executive offices at Market and Main Streets in the heart of downtown Amsterdam, New York. Transmitter on Route 30 in Mineville, operating at 1,570 kilocycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission.
It's the sound of news. WAFS, the big news in the Mohawk Valley, brings you the big news to this moment. News around the world. News of importance to listeners in Amsterdam, Gloversville, Johnstown, Fonda, St. Johnsville, Fort Plain, Canajoharie, and the surrounding area. Up to the minute. Accurate. WAFS News.
Brought to you as a public service by WAFS and CARE. The top story of this morning from the WAFS newsroom. The United States apparently has put into successful orbit a windmill satellite to study the relation between magnetic fields and space radiation. The satellite, called this time the Explorer 12, was launched from Cape Canaveral last night. Space officials say that all three stages of the Thor Delta-type rocket fired on schedule and pushed the payload into space. But they say that because of the highly elliptical orbit sought, it may be several hours before the orbit can be confirmed. And we ask you to stay tuned to the WAFS newsroom for momentary and complete details. It was learned by the WAFS news staff early this morning that the satellite was directly on a course that would take it as close as 170 miles to the Earth and as far out as 54,000 miles. Each orbit of the Earth would take 31 hours. Further in this morning's news until 6 a.m., representatives of the Western Allies are working today on the draft of a direct protest to Moscow over East Germany's border cessions in Berlin. The communists have threatened a blockade of West Berlin if West Germany invokes economic sanctions against communist East Germany. The Senate has invoked and cut down an attempt to slash $1.25 billion from President John Kennedy's requested borrowing authority for a 5-year economic loan development fund. President Kennedy reportedly has decided against any resumption of nuclear testings, regardless of whether Russia demonstrates again at Geneva that it wants no foolproof test ban. Closer to home this morning, tragedy, Dateline Utica. 2 women died last night in Utica, New York hospitals of injuries suffered in separate automobile accidents on Route 12 in Oneida County. One victim was 71-year-old Mrs. Amanda Berkeley of Lowville. Mrs. Berkeley suffered her fatal injuries in a one-car crash on a hill north of Alder Creek yesterday. The other victim was a 56-year-old Camden woman, Mrs. Pearl Condon, who died of injuries suffered in a 2-car crash Saturday near Remsen. On the baseball scene, results of yesterday's ball games. In the National League, Cincinnati over Los Angeles by a score of 5-2. That was a night contest. San Francisco under the Arcs defeated St. Louis by a score of 3-2. And it was Milwaukee 4, the Pittsburgh Pirates 1, the Chicago Cubs 6, the Philadelphia Phillies 5. Over in the Junior Loop, the American League, the Detroit Tigers over the Baltimore Birds by a score of 2-0 in the first game of a twilight doubleheader. The second game, Detroit also the victor 3-2. And that helps the Tiger cause in their race against the New York Yankees, who were losing meantime to the Chicago White Sox in a squeaker 2-1 last night. The Boston Red Sox 8, the Cleveland Indians 0, Los Angeles Angels 8, the Washington Senators 7, and the Minnesota Twins 9, the Kansas City Athletics 4. The present Market and Main temperature is 70 degrees.
This has been Up to the Minute, accurate WAFS news, the big news of now, from the big news in the Mohawk Valley. Next news anytime, headlines on the half hour, next news in depth on the hour from WAFS, the sound of news.
Well, hi there, and a great big good Wednesday morning to all you nice people wherever you might be. Time now for the Bill Pope Show for the next 4 big swinging hours. Until 10 o'clock, we're going to be around here with lots and lots of fine tunes, lots and lots of news, the very latest on the weather scene. We're going to have a flock of quizzes for you as WAFS kicks off what we hope will be many, many years of successful broadcasting in the Amsterdam area. By golly, it's nice to be with you. Incidentally, and very unimportantly, this would be old Curly Bill Pope Mike's side for the next 4, and we hope that you'll try and join us if at all possible. Oh, yes, to all of our good friends, a hearty good morning, buongiorno, and dzień dobry. As I said, we're going to have a whole flock of quizzes coming up just a little bit later on in which you can win tons and tons of prizes. So don't you dare go away. Stay right there all day, every day, won't you, at the big, bright 1570 spot on your dial. That's Fun Radio in the Mohawk Valley.
1570 WAFS in Amsterdam. Mr. Sing to me the song that I've been waiting. Thank heaven for little.
The first voice to be heard as WAFS takes the air this Wednesday morning, the great voice of Mr. Perry Como. This, the Bill Pope Show, kicking off what we hope will be many, many wonderful years of broadcasting via the 1570 spot on your dial at WAFS in Amsterdam, serving Schenectady, Amsterdam, Gloversville, Little Falls, Saratoga, the Schoharie, and the Mohawk Valleys. We have a lot of wonderful things planned for you today, in the way of quizzes especially. I think we have prizes that will offer some of our listeners opportunities of winning everything from trinkets to typewriters and from stereo hi-fis right on up through cashmere collared sweaters, mink cashmere collared sweaters or whatever they are. They're beautiful. I'll tell you this. Some lucky lady may win one this morning along about 9 to 10 when we have Bill Pope's phone fair, and we sincerely hope that you housewives especially are going to try and join us, because I'm telling you, we're going to give away everything, including the towers this morning. Try and be with us, won't you? By golly.
To the residents of the city of Amsterdam and the Mohawk Valley, this is Frank J. Marticello, Mayor of the city of Amsterdam. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate WAFS on this, the opening day of the new Amsterdam radio station. Congratulations and much success to its officers, management, and staff. Thank you.
High school graduate, check. Between 19 and 26 and a half years old, check. Good in math, check. I think. Thinking of the future, double check. Do you check out on all points? Then there's a possibility that you may pursue an interesting, exciting career in the aerospace age as a navigator in the United States Air Force.
Well, thank you, Junior. My golly, good to hear from you this morning with the fast word. Say, along about now, I'd like to remind all of our farm friends out there that the first hour of this show every morning is going to be dedicated to the farmer, with agricultural notes and a word about dairy and poultry and so on. So try and make it a point each day when you're up and about drinking your first cup of coffee, having your breakfast, or out there in the barn or on the milk route, to try and tune to 1570, because we'll have a lot of things of interest to you, too. Okay? All righty. Wafs time, 13 after 6.
For me, I was meant for. One 570 WAFS in Amsterdam.
High school graduate? Check. Between 19 and 26 and a half years old?
Check.
Good in math?
Check, I think.
Thinking of the future?
Double check.
Do you check out on all points? Then there's a possibility that you may pursue an interesting, exciting career in the aerospace age as a navigator in the United States Air Force. If you become an aviation cadet navigator, you'll study astronavigation and electronics. You'll be preparing for a vital role in the new aerospace age. In the future, it will be the men with this training who will figure so importantly when probing outer space. For today, there is challenging work and study and many other advantages to being a commissioned flying officer in the United States Air Force. Travel, allowances, 30 days vacation with pay annually, and many other benefits. If you're a high school graduate, some college is highly desirable, if you're good in math, in good health, see your local Air Force recruiter. See if you can join the aerospace team as an aviation cadet navigator.
WAFS is extremely proud to present the following congratulatory message, which was addressed to Mr. Irving Siegel, President of Valley Information Programs, and the management and staff of WAFS. We quote, "May I extend to you every good wish for a successful career in broadcasting. I am sure the listeners within the range of WAFS will come to know the call letters for their strong contribution and significance to the community. Signed sincerely, General Omar N. Bradley, United States Army," unquote. We are both proud and pleased not only to receive, but to extend this message to you, our listeners.
WAFS time, 20 after 6, market and main temperature 70 degrees. On this, the Bill Pope Show. Here's Rosie.
Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, come on to my house. Hi there.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Honey, you sound good.
Oh, you sound kind of good yourself, too, you know, dear.
I've got a very important question, just for you.
What's that question, sweetheart?
Tell me, sweetheart, what's the latest WAFS?
Oh, for crying out loud. All right, you asked for it, honey. Here 'tis. Possible showers about mid-morning today with a low temperature, or rather low humidity and a high temperature in the upper 70s. Tomorrow, the weatherman says we're scheduled for a fair and warm day. That's the latest on the weather scene. WABY. Ooh, there we go. WAFS time, 22 minutes after 6 o'clock. Market and main temperature 70 degrees. Nice to be with you, that's for sure. The lovely Peggy Lee front and center here.
All he has to do.
Ah, me, this is the gal who sings so big, the lovely Miss Peggy Lee. Continuing the Bill Pope Show this morning. Awfully nice to be with you, and that's for sure. This is the agricultural hour, during which each day we'll try to bring our farmer friends around the Mohawk Valley and Schoharie Valley areas the very latest on poultry and eggs and dairy notes and so on. So be listening for this each morning. Incidentally, our first show is dedicated to the postmen of the Amsterdam area, the fellows who tote the mail each day. So this morning, this would be the Amsterdam city manager saying the program dedicated today to all the postmen. Take it real easy, buddy, and watch those bunions now, won't you?
Mr. Manufacturer, this announcement is for you. Amsterdam offers many opportunities for the relocation of your industry. Amsterdam is the gateway to the Adirondacks and to the west. Amsterdam has the finest highway, rail, and water transportation facilities. Amsterdam has an active Chamber of Commerce. Amsterdam has people who want to work. Amsterdam is a good place to work and live. Try our city.
Good word, honey, and that's so very, very true, and that's for sure. WAFS time, 27 minutes after 6 o'clock. Market and main temperature, 70 degrees. Here's Rosie.
Watch me, I watch you, and everything goes crazy. Watch me, bambino, bo, Boco Piccolino, when you kiss me and I'ma kiss you, tra-la-la-la, and then we will raise a great big family, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, bee-oo-bye-oo-bee-oo-boo, bacio me bambino, bacio me. That's nice.
That's nice. That's Miss Rosemary Clooney, and that brings us down to headline news time on the Bill Pope Show this first day of broadcasting here at 1570 on your dial. WAFS, bringing you everything in the way of top music The very latest of news, the very up-to-the-minute weather conditions around the area, and quizzes all day long. Nice to be with you, and that's for sure. Gather around, good friends. Nice to have you with us, and perhaps today you can be a winner of something big in the way of prizes. Hang on, won't you? Headlines, then we'll be back with lots more.
It's the sound of news. WAFS headlines and the weather word to this moment. WAFS headlines, concise and accurate banner lines, dateline, now.
Well, the United States has done it again. The United States is believed to have put in successful orbit a windmill satellite to study the relation between magnetic fields and space radiation. Further in the news until the half hour, representatives of the Western Allies are working on the draft of a direct protest to Moscow over East Germany's border restrictions in Berlin. The communists have threatened a blockade of West Berlin if West Germany invokes economic sanctions against communist East Germany. President John Kennedy reportedly has decided against any resumption of nuclear testings, regardless of whether Russia demonstrates again at Geneva that it wants no foolproof test ban. On the baseball scene, results of yesterday's action in the National League, the Cincinnati Reds over the Los Angeles Dodgers by a score of 5-2, San Francisco's Giants 3, St. Louis Cardinals 2, the Milwaukee Braves 4, the Pittsburgh Pirates 1. That was all night action. The Chicago Cubs defeated the Philadelphia Phillies in a daytimer 6-5. And in the American League yesterday, the Detroit Tigers gained big ground on the New York Yankees as they won a twin bill from the Baltimore Birds, a twilight doubleheader. In the first game, Detroit 2, Baltimore nothing. Detroit 3, Baltimore 2 in the second contest. The Chicago White Sox defeated the Yankees 2-1 in a squeaker last night. The Boston Red Sox 8, the Cleveland Indians nothing, Los Angeles 8, Washington 7. And finally, the Minnesota Twins over the Kansas City Athletics by a score of 9-4. On the weather scene until the half hour this bright and sparkling Wednesday morning. Possible showers about mid-morning. Low humidity today with a high temperature in the upper 70s. Tomorrow, the weatherman promises fair and warmer weather. The present market and main temperature is 70 degrees.
This has been WAFS headlines and weather to this moment. Next news anytime. Next news in depth on the hour. Be at 1570 for the next important, accurate, up to the minute sound of news.
WAFS in Amsterdam.
Let me tell you, there's the blaze there. This is the Bill Pope Show on the first day of broadcasting at 1570 on your dial WAFS. We'll be around for the next 4 big hours until long about 10 o'clock this morning. We got lots and lots of music for you, lots and lots of the very latest news around the world and on the local level, too. We'll have the very latest on the weather conditions as dictated to us by the Albany Weather Bureau early this morning, and we'll have quizzes galore. By golly, good to be with you. And this our first show, of course, dedicated to the postmen around the Amsterdam area, the fellows who tote the mail every day. Nice to be with you guys, and boy, I'll tell you, every day we're going to try to pick out a dedication to people who really deserve it. The clerks in the stores, etc., up and down the line, the people who are on their feet all day, and we'll try to be just a little bit entertaining along the route. Try and stay right there now, won't you?
Young man, as you go peacefully plodding along, ever get the feeling that somebody's out to get you? Happens to a lot of young men. Yeah? Unless you learn to stay ahead of the pack, the future can be rather unpleasant. So next time you get that hunted feeling, Find out how you can choose your own job training in today's Army. And put yourself way out in front.
You can choose job training before you enlist. Before you enlist in the modern army.
WAFS time, 23 before 7 o'clock. Market and Main temperature is 70 degrees on the rise toward what the weatherman says will be a little bit of a showery morning with a high temperature today in the low 70s. Well, you know, we told you way back at the beginning that the first hour of this show every morning is going to be dedicated primarily to our good friends, the farmers of the Mohawk and Schoharie valleys. And we told you that occasionally we'd bring you notes that we thought might be of interest to you. I was sitting here pawing through some of the early morning things, and on the dairy and poultry scene this morning, this note: New York noted good demands for wholesale eggs, with offerings very, very light on large sizes and light on balanced top-quality large white eggs, 47 to 51 cents the dozen. Well, that sounds pretty good, I want to tell you. And something else that's going to sound good to you is this morning when one of the girls in the office calls one of you out there and says, "This is WAFS, and we'd like to have you talk to Bill Pope on the air in the Bill Pope Phone Fair show because you can win prizes." And when you get that call this morning, just hang on for a few seconds, and just as soon as we get a flying chance, we'll come right at you with the phone call, and then we're going to tell you what you win. Boy, don't be shy. Talk to me right on the air, and then we'll have some wonderful gifts for you.
Phone Fair with Bill Pope. Gossip for housewives. WAFS in Amsterdam.
Ha-ha! That's where it's going to come at you along about 9 o'clock this morning. The fun spot on your dial, the 1570 spot on the right side, the smile side of everybody's dial. WAFS time, 18 minutes before 7. The Market and Main temperature is 71 degrees. All right, clear those tonsils, everybody. We're going to sing along with Mitch. Now sing, won't you? Have fun.
Tonight, will you pardon me? Come tiptoe to the tulips with me. Madly in love, so wildly in love, oh, so in love am I
with the man who gives me the weather and time.
WAFS in Amsterdam.
Well, now let me see. You asked for the weather. Let's bring it to you. Partly cloudy skies today. That's a correction over an earlier weather forecast from the Albany Weather Bureau. Partly cloudy skies today, low humidity and a high in the upper 70s. Fair and high temperature in the 40s tonight. Tomorrow, fair and warm. WAFS time, 15 minutes before 7 o'clock. The Market and Main temperature is 71 degrees. Well, here it is, the first day of broadcasting for WAFS 1570 on your dial. We've waited a little while for this. We've waited around, and we've hoped and we've prayed. And I personally would like to send out best wishes to 4 wonderful gentlemen who made it possible for me to be in Amsterdam at the helm of this station. 4 wonderful gentlemen whose names I won't recall on the air. But thanks to them, and thanks to a wonderful staff that we have around us that made it possible for us to reach this point and to continue with the things that we know that you like. For example, along about 10:05 this morning, a wonderful guy, the Thin Man, Ed McKee, is going to be coming your way with lots and lots of fine music. And along about 12:05, Arnie B. will buzz your way. And again this afternoon, it'll be Ed and Arnie. And at other points along the week, it'll be Edwin Solkowski and Sal Megna. It'll also be Barry Frank on Sunday. There's a show you won't want to miss, I know. From 12 o'clock noon until close-off time every Sunday, the smooth voice of Barry Frank with all of your favorite music and the things you like to listen to on a Sunday afternoon. This then will be WAFS, incorporating some of the finest quizzes you've ever heard. It'll be swinging at times and it'll be quiet and peaceful at others. We'll bring you the Wafs Top 40 tunes, the hottest top 40 tunes in the entire area, we feel. We'll bring you the Wafs Flying 30 tunes that are sure to rise into the top 40 in the very near future. And along the way, we'll bring you the very finest in album music, etc. The widest variety of music at the fun spot on your dial 1570. By golly, we're looking forward to the entire thing. And thanks to each and every person who has made it possible along the way, and that's a sincere wish from us, that we can be here all the while to bring you everything that you'd like to hear in good radio. Thank you an awful lot, good friends. WAFS time is 11 minutes before 7 o'clock. The Market and Main temperature is 71 degrees.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Copacabana proudly presents the first New York Cafe appearance of Miss Connie Francis.
One time there lived an old man with a funny crooked nose. He lived, he is gone.
Ah, there she is, the lovely Connie Francis, continuing the music of the Bill Pope Show this bright and sparkling Wednesday morning. And gee, it's turned out to be a dandy morning. First of all, early this morning, the weatherman told us at Albany that we were going to have some rain about mid-morning, and then there's been a corrected forecast that says we're going to have partly cloudy weather today. But at this very moment at Market and Main in the heart of downtown Amsterdam, boy, the sun is beaming and people are on the move. One of the buses stopped and just let off a flock of people, and people look happy. They're talking to each other, and everybody is bustling and hurrying hither and thither here at Market and Main this morning. And we're sort of sitting on the second floor looking out our big window from our control board and enjoying it all because we are back in action, back in the harness of radio, and so happy to be with you in Amsterdam, and that's for sure. And sweetheart, you the housewife, we're awfully happy to be with you, especially as we have been down through a great many years in other parts of the country. And we kind of hope maybe that you'll be around with us because we've got a lot of things especially for you, dear. Yes, sir, we have got some wonderful, wonderful quizzes, especially designed for the housewife. And Mrs. Housewife, you this morning might win yourself a mink-collared cashmere sweater. You might be the winner of a stereo hi-fi or a portable typewriter. You could be the winner of some beautiful trays or food products of various types. By golly, you just stay right there because all these things will be coming at you in the very near future. WAFS time, 7 minutes before 7 o'clock. Market and Main temperature, 71 degrees. And again, let's everybody clear the tonsils and sing along with Mitch. Happy music, here we go.
It's only a shanty, an old shanty town. The roof is so slanty.
You say you want to listen to the most authentic record listing in the entire capital area and the Mohawk Valley, then be with the Ed McKee Show every afternoon at 3 for the WAFS Top 40. In addition, be sure to catch the Wafs Flying 30, the hottest 30 tunes in the entire record industry. All this and more on the Ed McKee Show every afternoon on the swinging 1570 spot on your dial, WAFS in Amsterdam.
Well, I want to tell you, like the fella said, that Ed McKee Show is going to be something every single day here on WAFS, and we kind of hope maybe that you'll make it a note to be with Ed McKee. He's not only with you at 2 to 6 in the afternoon, during which time he'll conduct the swing shift, but he'll also be around this morning at 10:05. And that will be music, of course, on the pleasant vein for the housewives, as well as some of the music that the kids would like, too. And he'll have a whole flock of quizzes, and we kind of hope maybe that you'll make it a point to be with Ed McKee this morning at 10:05. At 12:05, Arnie B. And many other things happening on WAFS all day, every day that we hope that you'll be around for because you'll have a lot of fun, and you could be a big winner.
Hi, Mrs. Housewife. This is Curly Bill, the housewife's helpless helper. And I want to invite you, sweetheart, to join us every morning between 9 and 10 for Bill Pope's Phone Fair. We'll have a whole lot of fun, and we'll give away everything from trinkets to typewriters, from dog food to donuts, and from mink-collared cashmere sweaters to stereo high-fives. Our next phone call may be to you, so stay tuned to WAFS at 1570 on your dial. That's the Morning Gossip Line, the fun spot. And it could be your line, your spot, for fun and for prizes as well. See you every morning at 9 for Bill Pope's Phone Fair. So long, sweetheart.
Yes, sir, sweetheart, that one's going to be for you every morning between 9 and 10. By golly, we got a ton of things to give away. We hope that you'll be around for it. Put down the broom or the wash rag along about 9 o'clock, and we'll have some dancing too, Mom. Yes, sir. WAFS time 3 before 7. Market and Maine temperature 71 degrees on what the weatherman says is going to be a fairly decent day with some cloudy skies along the way, but generally speaking, a pretty fair day. We're going to take it down to some news right now with Miss Connie.
I can be still.